All right, everybody, let's gather around and start this afternoon's festivities. Welcome. Lowell Observatory exists to study and understand the wonders of the universe. And just about 16 years ago, a number of us here today were gathered about 40 miles southeast of here on a fairly barren hilltop, celebrating the groundbreaking of the $53 million, 4.3 meter Lowell Discovery Telescope. Today, that telescope is our flagship of our research facilities. There are any number of wide-ranging and exciting and innovative research programs underway at the telescope. It is an essential component of our mission of discovery. Lowell Observatory also exists to share the wonders of the universe with everyone. And for that reason, this afternoon, we are celebrating the groundbreaking of the next flagship, the $38 million Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation Astronomy Discovery Center. Our intention is there will be no other place anywhere in the world where people can have a deeper, more meaningful, and more awe-inspiring connection to the cosmos of which we all are part. I'd like to acknowledge the elected officials who have joined us for this afternoon's celebration. From the City of Flagstaff, Mayor Paul Deasy, Council members Austin Aslan and Jim McCarthy. From Coconino County, Supervisor Geronimo Vasquez. From the state of Arizona, District 6 Senator Wendy Rogers. So we'll start this afternoon's festivities. We want to give you just a little hint of what we've got in store in the fabulous new facility that will rise from the site behind us. And we want to acknowledge and thank the team that has been working now for about 4 years to get us to this day, and that will make the facility a reality, as well as the generous and wonderful supporters and benefactors who have made this afternoon possible. So to start that, I'd like to introduce Lowell Observatory's Deputy Director for Education, Samantha Gordon.
Okay, how's that? Oh my gosh, it's such an incredible honor to be here today and to be part of a team that's driving this amazing project forward. When I first visited Lowell a few decades ago, Lowell's going to give me a hard time for that, but it's true. The Rotunda Museum doubled as the visitor center, and the Clark Telescope was really the only thing for visitors to take in at night. And I can remember waiting in the Clark line that night for what felt like hours, with anticipation building the whole time. And when I finally got to the telescope and I looked through the eyepiece, I was blown away. There was Jupiter, revealed as a world, complete with bands and a storm and moons. The curiosity, the sense of curiosity that was awakened in me that evening has remained with me throughout my life and has enriched my life in so many ways. And I'm so grateful that Percival Lowell dared to dream big and that he was so committed to sharing what he had realized with the public. Some of my most rewarding moments here at Lowell have been those in which I get to witness the effect that Lowell Observatory has on its visitors. I've seen countless people brought to tears by the sight of Saturn through the Clark Telescope. And I've seen young girls light up upon seeing our female educators operating telescopes. And my all-time, well, let me step back. I've also been privileged enough to witness some of the aha moments that have occurred during our astronomy camps for kids. My all-time favorite being one that occurred after a lesson about matter and atoms. We were all sitting around eating lunch, and a young Kemper looked up from her salad and exclaimed, "I get it! Croutons are made of protons." You know, Lowell Observatory has inspired so many individuals throughout its history, but Lowell would not have touched as many lives had the observatory not invested in expanding its outreach facilities and programs. And as we look forward today to the further expansion of our outreach facilities, I think it's important that we remember the giants on whose shoulders we stand. In particular, I want to recognize the work of Bill Putnam. Bill recognized the importance of the outreach portion of our mission, and he committed himself to making the observatory more accessible to the public. And as a young person growing up in Flagstaff, Bill's commitment to public education impacted my life in some really profound ways. I'm going to try not to cry. And I'm so grateful to Bill for that. The Steele Visitor Center was born out of Bill's commitment to increasing access, public access to Lowell Observatory. And throughout the years, it's served us in tremendous ways. We've been able to reach those not only in our community, but beyond. And we saw with the New Horizons flyby of Pluto and the visibility that came with that, we saw our attendance increase to a level that we could no longer accommodate. Would-be visitors were being forced away. And we could have continued along with not being able to accommodate all the people that wanted to come here, but that really didn't sit well with us. And so in the spirit of Percival Lowell and Bill Putnam, we dared to dream big. And the outcome of that planning process is the facility that we're breaking ground for today. The Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation Astronomy Discovery Center.
Yeah.
The Astronomy Discovery Center will be home to some venues unique in all the world, including an immersive theater, an open-air planetarium, an astronomy-themed children's exhibit hall, and also an exhibit hall in which people will be able to explore the incredible journey that their atoms have taken through the universe to become part of them. The Universe Theater will be outfitted with an enormous wraparound screen and an adjacent overhead screen, and these screens will combine to give visitors a truly immersive experience that will enable them to travel virtually to all the places that we can't take them to with our telescopes. For example, we'll be able to take them to the surface of Mars and to fly over the mountains, the icy mountains of Pluto. And we'll also be able to introduce them to all the large and small scale structures in the universe. In the Richard F. Karras Dark Sky Planetarium, situated atop the ADC, visitors will get to take in the gorgeous dark skies of Flagstaff and to learn about the stories from a variety of cultures that are inscribed in the night sky as constellations. This venue will be a place in which many visitors will see the Milky Way for the first time. The Children's Exhibit Hall will finally provide children throughout northern Arizona with hands-on science exhibits. This will be a tremendous resource for visiting families and visiting school groups, as well as the children in our science camps. Exhibits in the Astronomy Gallery will connect visitors with the universe in a very personally meaningful way. They'll help visitors explore what the phrase "we are stardust" really means, and will inspire them to want to learn more. You know, We are so fortunate to be part of something that is building upon the legacy of both Percival Lowell and Bill Putnam. And when this project is complete, we will all get to take with us the incredible gift of knowing that we've made it possible for Lowell Observatory to impact even more lives. Before I conclude, I have a few thank yous. I want to thank Lowell and Jeff and the members of our advisory board for both their vision and support. I want to thank all of my colleagues who are contributing to this project in big and small ways. I don't have time, unfortunately, to call out everyone, but I did want to recognize Dave Sawyer. Lisa Actor and the development team. The members of the content working group, including Michael West. I don't know. Todd Gonzalez. Jim Cole. And Kendall Edwards. And I'd also like to thank the astronomers that are serving as part of our astronomer review group, including Dr. Dave Schleicher, Dr. Deidre Hunter, and Dr. Jill Lama. I'd like to thank the public program team in general, and Kelly Ferguson as well. And now I have a number of thank yous for our external collaborators. Thank you to Ian McLennan, Bill Peters. Maybe I'll just run through these and then we can applaud afterwards. Ian McLennan, Bill Peters, Lori Beaumont, Juan Tanis, and his associates, including Edna Chan, Devin Hamilton, and Jill Randerson. Tim Whiteside of JWA, Mark Daniels and Steve Bernard of BEC, Glenn Smith with Skyscan, Oakley Anderson Moore, and Nanette Odell. And I'd also like to thank our many community partners whose input helped us shape the ADC. And finally, a big thank you to all of our donors. So in closing, I just want to say that the Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation Astronomy Discovery Center will be a world-class facility befitting of an extraordinary institution. Thank you all, and yay!
Samantha mentioned the quality of our outreach team. I see several of the outreach staff here. Many of those outreach staff are NAU students. And we're pleased to have President Jose Luis Cruz Rivera is here, from the new president from NAU. And I hadn't spotted her before, but I thought I spotted Colleen Smith from Coconino Community College over there. I should mention Lowell Observatory is a formal partner with Northern Arizona University in the Lowell Discovery Telescope, and we have wide-ranging connections in both education and research with NAU, and we value that relationship greatly. So now I would like to continue the acknowledgments and thank yous of so many who have made today possible, and for that, I'd like to introduce our Deputy Director for Development, Lisa Actor.
This project is so exciting that it has inspired 160 people or couples to donate already. We've raised $30.3 million to date, and we're over 80% of the way to the construction and outfitting goal, which is $37.5 million. On top of the 37.5, our vision is to raise another $5 million for an endowment specifically for this building to keep it shiny and new and beautiful as time goes by. So we still have a few dollars to raise. But the excitement, the vision of this facility has inspired some wonderful gifts, and I wanted to just call it a few of those. The Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation, I want to thank you all for the incredibly generous gift that you gave to name this building. And you'll hear from, I think we have sponsored the whole rooftop, the Dark Sky Planetarium and the Skylight Terrace on the roof, which will be stunning. The Orr Family Foundation out of Texas has sponsored the central atrium we're calling the Origins Gallery. And I hope they're watching virtually. Hi, Sam. Ginger and John Giovanni made a wonderful gift to help underwrite the theater that you heard about, this wonderful immersive theater. Thank you. Bill and Susan Ahern have helped us underwrite the sculpture that will hang in the Origins Gallery, the Origins Gallery installation that will symbolize how we came from the Big Bang to life on Earth. Edie Aerosmith and Leon DeSimone helped sponsor the screens in the theater, and I hope they're watching virtually. Bob Ayers and the Bob Ayers Science Fund underwrote the Orbit's Curiosity exhibits in the Children's Gallery. Kyle and Rachel Dilger and their company have supported the Dark Adaptation Plaza at the north entrance, which is basically where we're sitting right now, which will be a wonderful space. Knackered Pepsi has underwritten a cafe. Yes, we will have a cafe in this building, so you don't have to go down to town to eat. And W.L. Gore and Associates just recently sponsored our Diverse Universe Wall, which will be a space and a wonderful wall on the second floor with the stories of 70 astronomers and planetary scientists who have overcome difficulty because of their race, their ethnicity, their sexual identity, their disability, a variety of backgrounds that made it difficult to become astronomers. And we want this wall to encourage others to think of careers in science. Thank you, Bill. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize John Radway and Alice Ferris and Jim Anderson, all of whom have helped support this campaign. And there are at least 150 other people that I would love to name, but I bet you want to get on with the program. So I'll let Jeff introduce the next speaker.
Right, speaking of the program, we've asked several individuals to just say a few words to commemorate this happy occasion. And we really want to start with the folks who put the wind in our sails. You know, when you start a fundraising project that's north of $30 million, you sort of feel like you're looking up the slopes of Everest. And that's where we were only 2 years ago. And here we are, more than $30 million later. And the impetus for that came from the Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation. Their magnificent naming gift put the wind in the sails and not only sort of got us up well past, Camp 4 there on Everest, but it really catalyzed further gifts and excitement and momentum. And so we're deeply honored to have several members of the foundation here with us today. And please welcome and give a tremendous thanks to one of the trustees of the Kemper and Ethel Marley Foundation, Nancy Ball.
Well, what an amazing day, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to be back in Flagstaff. I am a lumberjack, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you what year. So, but I just want to say humbly and just from the bottom of our heart, it is wonderful to be part of a project like this. On behalf of my two other board members, they are the science lovers. When they heard about this project, they're like, yes, we're going to do this hands down. And this just rekindled a love that they have for astronomy and the exploration of our universe. And I'm also the CFO. And after I got back from falling off my chair, I said, okay, we can find a way to do this. And we were really, really, really glad we did. And then when Lisa said, you can't believe the number of people that are just coming to support this. It's like it's taking off. So that was very exciting. I have so many fond memories of Flagstaff many, many years ago. So to see this take off is absolutely wonderful. I'd also like to talk about in memory of one of our board members who, through one of her trusts, were funding part of the education wing. And she just had a love of making sure that we educate our children. And that is a core area that we believe very strongly in funding. So it's just the stars align, Jeff. And I also would like to give a shout out to people that help with this project. And the first is Jeff Seymour, if you want to wave your hand. Jeff is he's our real estate development person, so all capital projects have to go through him. So he makes sure that we're building and buying buildings that aren't gonna, I better not say this. Never mind. And then also Jamie Cafaro, who is our multi-year grant manager and making sure all the financials are where they need to be. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my husband, Alan Ball, who supports me through all my work with the foundation and the family. And I can't thank you all enough for being here. What a day.
Thanks so much again, Nancy and Dan and Steve Corrigan, the other trustees at the foundation. Lowell Observatory is deeply grateful to the city of Flagstaff for decades of effort and support protecting the beauty of our night sky, the quality of the sky, both for astronomical observations as well as for the enjoyment of so many who live here and come here to enjoy the environment of northern Arizona. And city staff have spent quite a bit of time and effort over the past couple of years working with us to get us to where we are today. It was a few days ago. Staff member Tiffany Antal gave a really nice presentation to the Planning and Zoning Commission recommending approval of our permit and greenlighting the project. There was a lighthearted moment when Tiffany pointed out that, among other things, the Astronomy Discovery Center would be required to comply with Flagstaff's exemplary lighting regulations. And we all agreed if there's one project where that shouldn't be an issue, this is probably it. So we really appreciate all the support from the city. And here to say a few words on behalf of the city, Flagstaff Mayor Paul Deasy.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you all for being here. This was just so exciting. I was giddy as all get out walking up in that parking lot to this event. Because I remember when I was a kid and coming up to the Lowell Observatory and all the magic and wonder it instilled in me, and so many others. I felt that magic again actually just a few months ago when we got to finally go see the observatory deck. And I'm just thinking about how much my children and myself will feel that even more with this new facility coming up. Lowell Observatory embodies the soul of Flagstaff. Flagstaff is STEM City. Flagstaff as the world's first dark skies city. Flagstaff as a pillar of education in the state. Bringing the open air planetarium, I'm so excited about that. It's just educating our youth and further instilling the magic and wonder that is scientific inquiry. I am proud of the partnerships that we have with with our with our county, with Lowell Observatory, and we actually just got some data not too long ago about some of our joint efforts. Our Dark Skies employee that was jointly funded by all three of our entities has cut the number of lumens in our city in half in 1 year. Yet another way that Lowell Observatory continues to help our community as a whole and help define who we are. This groundbreaking is simply groundbreaking. State-of-the-art technology that will become not just a local, but a national treasure. And with our sacred mountain and our dark skies, bring people from across the globe to learn and enjoy what Flagstaff has to offer. What I learned as a child, as always coming up here makes me remind me of it, is from astronomy, and the tenacity of scientists was well articulated in a quote by Stephen Hawking. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious, and however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. It matters that you don't just give up. The magic and wonder I speak of is the creative spirit that instills grit in us, that makes us not just want to look at the stars, but reach out to them, to do everything we can to fulfill our dreams and reach that sky. It is humbling as our own personal troubles and tribulations become to seem so small, while the realm of the possible seems bigger than ever. In some, though, thinking to my childhood, I remember my comic books, in particular Calvin and Hobbes, where they had a wonderful picture of them looking up at the sky. And Calvin said, if people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I bet they would live a lot differently.
Yes.
And that's what this new Astronomy Discovery Center will fulfill to many. To live differently, to live humbly, to create a love of learning and instill the magic and wonder in all who enter here. Thank you. I almost forgot, Pluto's still a planet. I don't care what anyone else has.
Absolutely, thank you. Our very favorite planet here in Flagstaff. We also value the connections we have with Coconino County, which, like Flagstaff, has exemplary dark sky protection throughout the second largest county in the entire United States, really making northern Arizona a bit of a dark sky preserve. I very much enjoyed the star parties up at beautiful Marble Canyon that Supervisor Lena Fowler has put together. And we're very pleased today to have with us County Supervisor Jeronimo Vasquez to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeronimo Vasquez. I'm the new district supervisor for District 2. Really excited to be here today and see this new building that's going to go up. It's exciting to think about how we're going to encourage children and the next generation to get interested in the skies. Coconino County is committed to dark skies, and we want to see future generations be able to enjoy the skyline the way we do and the stars the way we do. And so we're really excited to support this endeavor and be in collaboration with Lowell Observatory and with the city, and just want to congratulate all the different partners and funders who are making this possible. You are giving a legacy to future generations, and that's really important, and we thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Vasquez. Beyond Flagstaff and Coconino County, astronomy and planetary science and optical science is a multi-billion-dollar industry throughout Arizona. It's one of our very important and most uplifting resources. I've been very pleased throughout the years to work on various dark sky and astronomical issues throughout the state, including with the Arizona legislature, and we're very honored to have with us today District 6 Senator Wendy Rogers.
Thank you for having me. Flagstaff is my home. I'm Wendy Rogers. 54 years ago, I saved up all my babysitting money, my lawn mowing money, and I sent away to Edmond Scientific and I ordered a 6-inch mirror kit to grind my own mirror to make a Newtonian reflecting telescope.
I'll be darned.
And $55 was all I had. So I was living in Detroit area, Birmingham. My mom and dad and my 2 brothers had already left for college. And so my mom said, just don't make a mess. So I ground that mirror, 80 grit, 100 grit, 120 grit, one piece of glass over another to make it concave. And then my brother, John, whose birthday it is today, came home on summer vacation from college. And he said, do you need a ride down to the telescope shop in Dearborn to have it looked at so that I could get it mirrored, get the coating put on it to make it a mirror. So we walked into this little hole-in-the-wall telescope shop in Dearborn, Michigan. And this man shuffled out, and he was the owner, the only guy working there. And he looked at it, and he took it back into the back of the shop, and he came out, and he said, I'm so sorry, little girl, but there are a lot of scratches in this piece of Pyrex. Where have you been doing your work? And I said, out in the garage. Well, any of you who've dealt with optics know the garage is not a clean place. So he said, the garage? Oh my gosh, you can't continue to work there. And so he looked at my brother, who's 6 years older than I, and basically said, fix this. So we went home, and I was in tears because he said, you have to start over. I had to go all the way back to 80 grit and start over. So we walked into the house, and my mom said, well, John and Wendy, how'd it go? And John said, Mom, you have to give Wendy a break. She cannot continue to grind this mirror in the garage. And she said, okay, to the basement then. So all my little friends would come over, and this is the summer project, and we finished it in the basement. My dad helped me build a workbench so that we could do it. And we went back to Dearborn down to the telescope shop, and the man shuffled to the back, and he came forward. He said, well, it's better, but it still has a ring around it, around the circumference. Would you like me to coat it anyway? And I said, yes. And so then I started buying the other parts. I thought I would shop around for the tube, which is made of cardboard. And, back then it was the Yellow Pages. So I began calling around, and every construction company I called thought I was a boy. And I finally sent away to Edmond and just bought it from them. And I got the other parts, and I put it together. And then I saw the moon. And then I saw the rings of Saturn. And the spot on Jupiter. And I had made this. And it was with galvanized plumbing pipe from the hardware store. And pieces of plywood cut out for the legs. I knew 55 years ago who Percival Lowell was.
Yeah, cool.
I knew who Clyde Tombaugh was. He was my hero from Tucson, and I'm out there in Michigan. Astronomy has been a part of me since I can remember. And it might be the reason I became an Air Force pilot. Because when I was an Air Force pilot, I flew to the southern hemisphere. And I saw Halley's Comet. And I saw constellations I had never seen before. There is nothing so thrilling as the hobby of astronomy. And then to move here, we joined Lowell right away. And then 2 weeks ago, Danielle Adams showed us around the crew from the Arizona State Senate. And they took video of me here in my home at Lowell. So this observatory and this whole complex will be viewed all over. And then last night, my husband said, it's your birthday in July, what do you want? I said, I'm going on Amazon and I'm buying a telescope.
Yeah.
So I bought a Celestron 5-inch reflector. And I bought a Barlow lens to triple the power. So thank all of you, for being here. This is so special. We can be so proud as the state of Arizona for this iconic wonderful place called Lowell Observatory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Rogers. And now we'll move on to two final speakers. Lowell Observatory benefits tremendously from the guidance and advice and counsel of its advisory board. We're having this meeting today because this week is the annual meeting of our advisory board. Thank heaven, I think we were practically giddy Thursday night at the opening dinner to be doing it in person instead of on the usual grid that we've all been stuck with for the past 15 months. We are deeply appreciative of all that our advisors bring to us. And so to say a few words on behalf of our board, I'd like to introduce Michael Beckich, who is the chair of the executive committee of our board. Mike.
I like Wendy's idea there, so I'm going to steal it. It's really an honor for me to be here to represent the advisory board. Our advisory board is so engaged and makes such a difference here that I feel so honored to actually help lead the group. Sometimes people ask me, my wife and I, Bridget and I are from Southern California, and I'm known as the astro guy all around where I live. And starry-eyed since the age of 11 or 12, building telescopes and so on and so forth. And they ask me, why do you spend so much time on that observatory in Arizona? There's observatories, all over the place, including California, of course. And I say, because it's the only place like it in the known universe. And it truly is. This place, for someone like me, it is a dream come true to have a position here where I'm helping guide and fund the organization to make it what it is. It's a special place. My brother moved to Dale Street when I was 13 or 14 in Flag. He immediately said, well, when you come up, I know you're like an astro nerd, you've got to go see Lowell Observatory. So my first trip here is going to sound a lot like Samantha's, where the only thing there was to do was the visitors gallery in the Slifer building, the rotunda. And I don't even think the telescope was open for viewing while I was up here. But the place so captivated me and led me down this path of knowing this is a special place that by the time I'd, of course, been invited to an advisory board meeting as a guest, the Steele Visitor Center was here, and it was like, wow, this place is it's amazing. And then during my tenure on the board, we've built the Putnam Collection Center and the Lowell Discovery Telescope, which was originally referred to as the Next Generation Lowell Telescope when we had a presentation in Hawaii about it. And the visionary leadership of Bill Putnam and the advisory board morphing into the visionary and wonderful leadership of Lowell Putnam and an ever more effective and engaged advisory board has brought us to today, the Astronomy Discovery Center. I want to thank the lead donors, everybody who's dug deep to make this possible financially. And this Astronomy Discovery Center is truly going to be a beacon, a quasar, if you will, on the hill of education, excitement, and science literacy at a time when we so desperately need that in our world. And as Lisa said, we're not done yet, advisory board. we still have some fundraising to do to really finish it off and endow it properly. But this day, I couldn't even imagined it in the early 15 years ago. Thank you all. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. And oh wow, thank you all. What we've done is amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And Mike referred to Bill and Lowell Putnam. Our founder, Percival Lowell, specified in his will that the observatory would be governed by a sole trustee. And today, the sole trustee of the observatory is W. Lowell Putnam, Bill Putnam's son, my boss, and it's very safe to say that we would not be here and the observatory would not be in the solid place it is without the steady and absolutely unwavering support we all receive from the trustee, and we're all very grateful for that. So please welcome Lowell Putnam.
Thank you, Jeff. I have a few remarks, but before I do that, I had my own aha moments here, and I want to share them with you to give you an idea about this building that's going up here. So I don't know if you can see over there, there's a flag with pink fluorescent. That is, and there's another one down over there. That's the far edge of the theater. And this flag right here is a little bit more this way, is the other edge of the theater. And all of that is going to be the theater. That's just one room inside the building. The far edge of the exhibit hall is that flag down over there by the road, to give you an idea of the scope of the building side to side. But here's another one. We've talked about the dark sky planetarium. All of you are standing there. It's going to be up in those treetops. That's where the roof of the building is going to be when people get up and get to look at the dark sky of Flagstaff. So it's going to be really, really, really wonderful. And that was just sort of stunning to me that you see it on drawings and diagrams and everything else. When you step out and actually start seeing the reality of it, it's just pretty incredible. It's clouding over again. We may get some rain. That's actually wonderful just for the current situation, but it's also very good karma. Because before I came out here, one of our advisory board members, who unfortunately could not come out, sent me a photograph that he had taken at the groundbreaking of the Steel Visitor Center, 1995. And it was raining, and there were people standing around with umbrellas and everything else like that. So when it started to rain earlier and people started putting up umbrellas, I was like, okay, we've got some really good continuity going here. Percival spoke and wrote about his commitment and understanding of what research means. And it doesn't just mean doing science. For him, it was equally important that the researcher, in his words, was able to make any member of the general public be a co-discoverer, that they could have that moment of aha and understanding that would come about from some new piece of science, some new knowledge that we gain in the universe. That's incredibly important. We've all had those moments in our lives where all of a sudden where we see Jupiter or the rings of Saturn, and all of a sudden something that was in the textbooks is now real and in front of us. This facility will give us the ability to take that experience to hundreds of thousands of people per year, and to give them that capability. It also will show them what the beauty of having a natural dark sky can do. I can't tell you how incredibly important and impressed people are about Flagstaff to understand that you can stand down on Main Street and look up and see the Milky Way. That is a sight and a pleasure that is denied about 80% of the people in the United States because of what light pollution has done there. And preserving it here was part of what makes Flagstaff a really special place. So not only do we have a self-interest in wishing to continue to have dark skies, but it is really something that is a community strength, and I would just encourage you to treasure it as you have for so many years. Lastly, it is the support of the community, the support of the advisory board that has helped make this happen. This institution is on a tremendous trajectory of growth, and it is because of the support and help and assistance of all of you. And I just want to say thank you very much, and Percival Lowell thanks you as well. Thank you.
All right, it's a moment we've all been waiting for. I'm going to call up people to pick up a shovel and a hard hat. And you're going to line up behind this long stretch of dirt behind me. And then I'll give you more instructions. So I'm looking for Nancy Bell, Jeannie Cafaro, and Jeff Zemer from the Marley Foundation. John and Ginger Giovanni. Yeah. Grab a shovel and a hard hat and stand behind that line of dirt. Please.
You get the bullets.
Bill and Susan Ahern. Samantha Gorney. Supervisor Vasquez. I think the mayor had to leave, so I would have been calling him up. Jeff Hall and Michael Beckett. And Lowell Putnam. Will you get in the backhoe? Yes, and Wendy. Sorry, I didn't mean to overlook you. Yeah. Are there any extra shovels? Because we have some city council members here who might want to shovel some dirt. Austin Aslan and Jim McCarthy, would you like to scoop some dirt on behalf of the city since the mayor left? Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. So here's what's going to happen. I'm letting the last two shovelers get their shovels and hard hats. On the count of 3, we'd like you to scoop some dirt and just toss it out in front of you. And once you do that, I'll give you the next instruction. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Now we need all of you to clear out of the way because I don't think you want to be in the way when Lowell operates his backhoe. Okay. Go for it, Lowell. Ah, now we're set. Let's hope Lowell's not doing all of the shoveling. It might take us a while. Where's Steve Bernard? Is he still here? Well, Garner. Well, sorry guys, that was our grand finale. Uh-oh. Is he thinking about trying again? Lowell, do you want to put a hard hat on and scoop some dirt with a?
I trust the experts who are already over there.
Okay. So we invite anybody who would like their photo taken with a hard hat and a shovel to come scoop some dirt. Mark Daniels, our DEC lead, tells me that he has to dig a hole here about 14 feet deep. So it's going to take a lot of work. So, but that concludes our actual program.